everyone. Welcome again to Baby Names Live. I'm Jennifer Moss. I'm the founder of babynames.com.
And I am Miranda Mendelson, a partner and Jennifer's daughter.
Yes, you've heard me talk about Miranda's name. Miranda, why don't you update the watchers on how you got your name, Miranda?
Well, my grandmother's maiden name is Miranda. It is a very common Latin surname. And I
Like
think,
Lin-Manuel.
yes. And I think prior to knowing that, you had already liked the name, right? From Shakespeare.
Right. Yeah, I
So
already.
it was like once you heard that that was my grandma's maiden name, my paternal grandma, you were like, bing, bing, bing.
Way
That's all I
before
know.
we were even married.
Right. You had it already picked out.
Your dad, I'm like, okay, that's gonna be our baby girl's name. That's it.
Was that when you already knew that I was a girl for sure?
No, it was before we even got engaged.
Oh.
I was like, if we ever have a girl, it's going to be Miranda. And your grandma was like, oh, yay. and your dad was probably like, okay, well, that's that. That sealed the deal.
Set in stone.
That's why she loved me. And then Margaret we used because that was my mother's name. And we had to even the playing field there.
Yeah.
Else we would have had issues.
But it was perfect because then I ended up with the initials MMM both before and after I got married.
That's true.
I'm very glad that I was able to keep my initials because I feel like it's such a fun, like, alliterative name.
And your last name is so similar. Your married name is so similar to your maiden name, Mendelson and Mendoza.
4 letters. So it was really hard when I changed my last name after getting married, when people would ask me for my name, like at the doctor's or something, and I'd go Miranda Mendelson because I was like halfway
trying to
my maiden name
transition into the new name.
It took so long for me to not go Mendelson. They probably thought I was having a stroke.
And then you guys were considering kind of combining, right?
That was kind of a joke.
Or something.
That was more of a joke because, like, for our cats, when we would bring them into the vet, we had to put a last name for our cats. And so I'm like, well, and this is before we were married. So I'm like, well, let's just smush our names together, I guess, because it's like, who cares, you know?
That's true. My animals have different last names than me. Roxy Hart is a character from Chicago. Sometimes I call the other animals Brutus Hart, Roscoe Hart. Just give them all Hart as the last name. But anyway, we're going to talk about the episode that dropped yesterday, and that is on dictionary names. And when we say dictionary names, we're pretty much referring to the English dictionary, but we do have some foreign language words thrown in there. And it means names that were words first before they became names. And since we recorded it, because we recorded it on Sunday and it dropped yesterday, there were several celebrities that announced their new babies with dictionary names. Like, this has become so trendy. Now you had mentioned Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. He just named it's a son, right?
Yeah.
After his late brother, Riv. Not only an amazing tribute, beautiful, but also a dictionary name.
Nature name.
Nature.
Yeah. And Phoenix, is that a proper noun or is that a word?
Well, there's a bird that's a phoenix, right?
Right.
So I guess that would be.
It's a fictional word.
Oh, a fictional bird.
A fictional bird. And I won't play the song.
Now we're back to bird as the word.
So Joaquin, he has his brother was River, and then I think his sister Liberty, a sister Summer, and a sister Rain. So they had.
So he's the only one who doesn't have a dictionary name,
right? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And of course, Rooney Mara is the mama. So we can't just say it was his child.
Right.
She is an amazing actor in herself. And then Meghan McCain, who is a television personality and daughter of John McCain, had a daughter named Liberty Sage.
I like that a lot. I like sage. I'm wearing kind of sage green too.
That's true. I like sage too. It could mean two things. It could mean, well, three things. It could be the color. It could be the plant, the spice. And it could be mean like mentor or like a sage, a knowledgeable person.
Or what about like the
guru.
verb? Well, I guess the verb of saging something has to do with the plant still.
Oh, like
yeah. Right?
So like a haunted house or something, or move into a house. Yeah. So
but that's still the plant. That's why that's called that.
Meanings. Right. And then Usher I assume that's a son. I think he had a son, middle name Bo, first name Sovereign. What do you think about that?
I don't really feel one way or another about it. I think it's a good gender fluid name for sure. Yeah, I think that could definitely go both. Probably why you're like, is it a son? Is it a daughter?
Well, Sovereign Bo. I think Bo is just like so
It is
cowboy.
kind of like, yeah, it's a very strong first name. And then it sounds like the middle name was kind of a throwaway.
Like, what are we going to put
afterthought?
Whatever, Bo. And that's B-O, not B-E-A-U. Oh, yeah, Usher is a dictionary name, too. I never thought about that.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So, like an usher in a movie theater or a theater. Okay. And then we had kind of suggested dictionary words that we think should become names, and we had a little tussle about some of them. On my list, Mallory did not like journo, Journo, which is kind of like a shortened form for journalist. What do you think, Miranda?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it sounds like germy to me, like germs. But it also sounds sort of like a dog name. Journo. Or like, what's that one movie? Juno. It kind of sounds like Juno.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it could work. Pajama?
No, pajama. I don't know.
Do you think it's just too silly?
Pajama.
PJ for short or jammy?
Pajama. Yeah, I don't know about pajama.
Peekaboo. But do you think people would laugh?
There's one peekaboo, and people probably do laugh. My name is Pajama. Pajama Jamma. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds too crazy.
Quaish?
Quaish sounds, I agreed with Mallory. It sounds like, okay, it's either sounds like quiche or queef.
Don't talk about queef. We talked about queef for like 5 minutes, and all we did was laugh, and I cut all of that out. So,
well, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, so if you,
I'm on Mallory's wavelength.
Go look it up in the dictionary. We don't want to name your children.
Yeah, I don't like that one at all. And also, that's another one too, and that's kind of like just. If you're choosing a dictionary name, I think it should still fall within what we normally suggest of like, is this easy to phonetically pronounce? Like, is the teacher going to have a problem saying this in school? Are they going to be spelling it for everyone for the rest of their life or correcting people for the rest of their life? And I think some of the ones that you guys talked about yesterday, it'd be such a burden.
Well, one of the great things about using a dictionary name is that it's familiar to people, right?
None of these are journo and quaish is not familiar. I've never heard
maybe not quaish. I like Katya. Okay, so on Mallory's side, banane, the French word for banana.
Banane. I feel like I like the sound, but I think you had mentioned like if you ever go to Paris and you say your name is Banane, they're going to be like, your name is Banana. So
yeah, like what if somebody came here from France and said, "Hi, my name's Banana"?
I think you spoke about Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow's kid, Apple. So I mean, it probably, depending on what part of the country you're in, wouldn't be so shocking. But if you like that sound, why not go for like Bannon? You know, something that's maybe the same sound, but not like banana.
Well, not Bannon. I mean.
Well, fair. That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, back to the drawing board on that one.
Duffel.
I like Duffel. It's kind of like Duffy, and there's the singer Duffy.
And there's no connotation to it really, except army maybe. emoji.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, to be completely honest with you. I feel like if someone named their kid COVID, someone's got to have someone named their kid emoji by this
Corona.
point. Right, exactly.
And I'm just going to finally lamb. I like lamb, but not lammy.
I knew someone whose her last name is Lamb. She's a makeup artist, Genevieve Lamb, and I think she uses it as a nickname. I'm not so sure about using it as a first name. Lamb.
Oh, interesting.
I don't like Lammy. Lammy is like that little character, like the white lamb. But lamb is okay.
Lamb chop is what
lamb chop. About. That's what I'm talking about. Lamb chop.
It is offensive to a vegan that you name a lamb after a food that they are made out of.
Oh, lamb chop, like saying pork chop.
It's like naming a pig bacon.
Bacon, yeah.
But anyway, okay, so what names have you come to the table with?
So here's what I've got. I think I've got about 7 that I think are good. Now, okay, the first one is Spirit.
Oh, you know what's so funny is I know a boy named Spirit.
There we go. I think that's a cool name. And that can also go both gender-wise. I don't think it's feminine or masculine.
I was trying to figure out what his name was because I knew it was a dictionary name and I wanted to mention it in the episode. That was it. Thank you.
Okay, my second one is Wonder.
Oh, I like that.
Wonder Woman.
Back to Spirit ones. Oh. Don't you think that could be like ghosty though too?
I mean, maybe, but it could be like in good spirits kind of thing. I like the way that it sounds.
Like
spirit.
Your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wonder, like Wonder Bread though?
Wonder. I mean, I was thinking more like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I like
or just Wonder, like, oh, not all who.
Yeah, that would work. Okay. 2 for 2. Okay.
I know that this is used as a nickname for some names already, but Day, D-A-Y.
Oh, yeah.
Which is already a nickname, but I think on its own, it could also be a good name.
Devon from Big Brother.
Right, exactly. People call her Day. I also wrote Clearing. Like a clearing in a meadow.
These are very woo-woo. For someone who is not woo-woo.
I was looking for words that I think were pretty. Yeah, yeah. And then I know this is kind of already a name, but it was definitely a word first. Clay. C-L-A-Y.
Yeah, that's pretty popular.
I also wrote Ryder, which has probably been used as a name. Like I know it was a last name in a Disney movie.
Charts. Yeah.
Okay. With a Y or an I?
Both.
Okay.
But Y is more prevalent.
Right. Yeah. And then lastly, you probably remember this, and this is a dictionary name, but in a different language. Ventana. I used to know a girl. Right. I went to school with a girl named Ventana, which is window in Spanish. And that's kind of another funny one where it sounds really pretty in English, but if you go to Spain or Mexico, you say, my name is Ventana, they might be like, your name is window.
And we talked about this when you came home and said you had a friend Ventana, and I said window. And I was like, what? I said, but it could be like window to your soul. It doesn't have to be a literal window.
Yeah, and honestly, like window's not too bad in English either. Maybe we make that happen.
Willow, window, yeah,
window.
Make that happen.
And Winnie for short.
Yeah, Win has become a name. W-I-N.
Interesting. Is that an expectation name though?
Winning, yeah.
Because what if they just have like a really bad year? They're not winning this year.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about expectation names. So there's like Serenity. Could Serenity ever just get mad? Like, that's not as much as an expectation name as some other ones could be. I don't know. Queen, Messiah is terrible.
Messiah, I think, is almost, is that sacrilege at some point?
I don't know. It's in the top 200 of U.S. births for boys.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised about that. King and Messiah are in the top 200.
I don't mind King as much as I mind Messiah.
And we're not religious either, you or I.
Well, I'm sort of religious.
Well, you're Jewish.
I'm not like going to temple every week religious, but it's still like, it just kind of like bristles you sort of.
So if anyone out there is religious, I want to know if it feels offensive to you. Does Messiah feel offensive or is it honorific?
Right. Well,
I mean,
it
people are named Christian.
Right. But here's the thing, coming from a Jewish standpoint, which Messiah, like I'm wondering like to which religions are naming their kids this, because like our Messiah hasn't shown up yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, so that's why in my head, I'm like, well, naming your kid Messiah, you're just assuming your kid is Messiah. Whereas maybe with Christians, they're like, well, our Messiah already came, so this is an honorary name.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it's kind of asking for it. What about naming somebody Queen? I mean, it works for Queen Latifah, but it's her
well, that's not her real name. Yeah, exactly.
It's Dana.
Hey, Queen. I don't know. that's what I think of. Like, hey, Queen. Oh, Queen. Because like it's just like something you call people to like gas
girl,
them up. Yeah. So
now there's some
I like Queenie.
Queenie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't use it. What if I named you Queenie?
Although Queenie rhymes with weenie.
I love getting this millennial perspective in here. This is funny. So what I was going to say is that some titles have disambiguated, like Duke and Bishop and Deacon.
Mm-hmm. Like that just sounds like,
title, but it just sounds more like a name now. Mm-hmm. And like, and like you said, Clay, people don't really think of Clay.
Yeah.
Or land or anything.
Yeah, you don't think of like Play-Doh.
Right. Some have become more names than they have become words. Now, I think like nature names are pretty safe. Mm-hmm. Color names are pretty safe because they don't really have, blue means kind of depressed, but I think a lot of people are using it in terms of the color. And let's see what else. Place names, musical names. I know that you were really into Cadence for a while.
Yeah, well, if I were to ever have kids, or this is what I thought as a teenager, I would want one girl named Cadence and one boy named Coda, and then somebody did that. So I'm like,
really?
Yeah, I think it was a singer. She actually went ahead and did it. Not twins, but
that would be
think
too matchy.
Let me look it up because I know an artist did that already, and I was
Meanwhile, Allie says, I'm Christian and I don't find it offensive. I think it's like naming a child Mary or Jesus or Jesus. It's honoring. I personally wouldn't name my child any of these, but I'm not offended. Okay.
All right.
That makes sense. So that's good to know. What I think is interesting is Stone is number 999 on the boys' side.
Interesting.
Like Stone Phillips. And Stone has a son named Streeter.
Streeter. Interesting.
It's not even a word.
Streeter, street teamer kind of person. Hold on. So hold that thought. So I looked it up. I know there is somebody who has two kids, Cadence and Coda, but T-Pain, the rapper, has a kid named Cadence Coda, but it is spelled Kaydenz Kodah.
Okay. You know me, I don't like creative spellings.
I mean, all of his kids. He also has lyric with a Q and music with a Q. So, I mean, it's like he's got all of the musical terms just spelled differently.
You're going to have to go your whole life saying music with a Q.
Right. Exactly.
And lyric with a Q.
I love lyric. I
do like lyric too. That's becoming more popular. Catherine says, I like Miranda's ideas, Ventana or Day. I know a uvia means rain. It catches people off guard, but I like it better than rain or rainy. Uvia. I wonder if people say luvia though.
Yeah.
Catherine, is she of Hispanic origin?
Yeah, I'm curious because also that sounds like, I feel like people would call her uvula. Because I mean,
UV, but UV's cute.
UV's cute. Yeah, I like that. I don't mind rain, although that could also be like a depressing name. Like
that's what I thought. When
Stormy too.
Rainy or stormy, it feels like a heavy dark cloud is hanging.
Like
over
she's
you. Like
Stormy's coming in.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about expectation names. Like you name them something, and then can they get mad or stop being stormy?
Right.
It's just it's
an easy
the name a joke.
It's a low hanging fruit for sure.
Right, definitely. Ebony has been a popular name for the African American community, and I
like
noticed
Ebony.
that Ivory is number 572 on the girls' side. Now, as a vegan, can't really. I mean, I know it's
Ivory's but is the color based on the
and ivory? Yeah, the color is based on the color of the tusk of an elephant, which was cruelly harvested for a long, long time. So I wouldn't use it, but there's nothing wrong. It sounds like ivy.
Or like you can think of like, well, I mean, I guess
alternative to ivory.
I was going to say you can think of ivory like piano, but they also used to be made out of ivory, but they're not anymore.
I mean, and of course that's my vegan perspective, and it's not 100% of the world, obviously. Katherine said, yes, her older brother had a classmate of that name in Mexico, and the parents liked it.
Very cool.
Okay, so it didn't really matter that it was a Spanish word. So Ventana was half, I know that was Uvia, but Ventana was half Hispanic.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I think she was just white.
Oh, okay. That's really strange then. I like conjugated verbs like blessing, although that's also a noun.
It's like my clearing.
Like clearing. And something I totally forgot to mention in the show, that my great-great-grandmother was Katherine Lawling. And that was a name I've always loved because it's like lulling someone to sleep.
Yeah.
It's calm. And so I used that as my protagonist in my series of mysteries. Go find them on Amazon.com. Town Red, plug. So Katherine Lawling is the name of my heroine because I just thought that it's just such a nice.
That's such a great name.
Beautiful name.
Yeah.
I didn't know it even
rolls
existed.
Off the tongue.
Yeah, but I did find out that all Lullings come from Luxembourg.
Every Lulling ever?
Every single one. Like,
wow.
Because I looked on Ancestry.com, and that was like the start. There must have been, I think there's a town called Lulingen, and that's where it's a habitational surname. So that's where all the Lullings came from. And there's actually a Lulling in their parliament. So I might be related.
Who knows? Got to get on that Ancestry.com.
I know.
Not Spawn.
I really wanted that dual citizenship too, but I missed the boat on that one. So we talked about some dictionary names from other languages like Spanish. Étoile, I think, is really pretty. That was on Mallory's list, and that means star.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Toile.
That's going to be another one. Like you're ordering pizza. What's the name? Étoile.
Well, you can't go by that either.
I know.
Because there's a lot of immigrant names and foreign language names in this melting pot of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. So saying that names have to be easy to spell and easy to pronounce has been attacked as being racist.
Right. No, that's true because you're saying easy to pronounce for who?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we don't put pronunciations on the site, because it all depends what your culture is. It depends where that person was born, what their culture is, and geography. Because the name Carrie, even Carrie, is pronounced differently in New York than it is in California.
How's it pronounced in New York?
It's like Kari or something like that.
Really?
I can't even do it, but I've heard them say it. And yeah, it's a different pronunciation. So to say this is pronounced this way is very ethnocentric. You know what I mean?
That is a very good point.
Yeah. So another kind of subcategory of names that have become hugely popular on the boys' side are these hyper-masculine names. And something I probably wouldn't do, but like Rogue, Maverick, Saber, Blade.
Ooh. I like Saber, like lightsaber.
I guess, yeah. That.
What else? Kind of that's like a
saber-toothed tiger.
Oh no, I thought lightsaber immediately.
A saber is a sword,
right? Okay. But who's calling it a saber?
Before it was a lightsaber.
But no, everyone's gonna think lightsaber. But that's
so that's kind of
Star Wars fan naming their kid that.
And Saga, we said, is probably identified with Star Wars too.
Saga, yeah.
And Mallory said it sounds like soggy, or maybe I said that. I think I said that. I don't quite like saga. Gunner, I wouldn't use personally myself. You mentioned Ryder, like
I
a
said
motorcycle rider. Axel's becoming big. I don't know. These are all kind of strange, but you know that the Big Brother couple, Jessica and Cody, named their daughter Maverick, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, see, like I don't think it necessarily has to be hyper masculine. I think in general it could just be like
gender neutral,
just a strong name. Yeah, a power name, but it doesn't necessarily.
Of them as, power names. Another one I saw on the list was Trip, which used to be a nickname for somebody who was the third.
Yeah.
Trey, Trent, Trip. But it sounds like Trip.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it could be Falling Trip or it could be Vacation Trip.
Yeah. But it's, okay.
But I still think of the third.
The third.
As a name.
Like triple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to name somebody Trip that's not the third, I don't know. Talon. Which means claw.
Like Talon?
Okay, Talon, Talon. Is that how you pronounce it over there in Nevada?
Well, no, like Talon means claw. Talon sounds like a name.
Well, either way. I don't know. What do you think of Talon?
That could be kind of cool. Like Callan, Fallon. It's got that.
Yeah. And then one of the tips we said is like, if you have a dictionary surname like me, you want to be careful if you choose a dictionary first name, because it could end up being a pun name or sound silly. Like, for example, Crystal Glass is stupid, but Crystal Mason would be okay. Or Crystal Rock would be kind of iffy. It would be kind of on the fence, Yeah. So think about that before, because a lot of times also people will be considering first, middle, and last name, and they don't realize that most of the time they'll be called by their first and last name.
Yeah. I mean, very I think when I was signing my escrow papers was I actually I needed to sign with my middle name too,
Yeah. So you don't use that. So what do you think, now that I've got you in front of an audience, would you have liked it if I named you Daisy Mendoza?
It's still kind of alliterative to be it still has the
Daisy.
Yeah. I don't think I would have minded Daisy. I think it kind of fits my personality. I'm pretty bright and sunny. Yeah. But I still really like my initials.
Then you'd be DM.
Which nowadays, slide into the DMs. Oh God, that would have been
in the day, but...
Yeah, that would have been bad in college probably, because that's when DMs started to be a thing.
I guess so. All right. Anybody have any questions for us before we sign out of Baby Names Live? I got a email this afternoon, obviously spam, saying that the CEO of babynames.com has terminated me. So I thought that was funny. Peace out.
Bye.
Although I am the CEO of babynames.com. So I have rehired myself. There we go. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in. Before you leave, Katherine said you could have done Margarita Mendoza and have been MMM.
And then I would have been Margaret Mendoza.
Or Margarita Miranda or Margarita Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way. But
because I'm MMM now.
I know. The next podcast is going to be a real fun one about video game names and role-playing games. We have two special guests. We have Lee Perry, who is the lead developer at Epic Games and actually created Fortnite. And then we have Matt Mercer, who you might know from the online web series Critical Role. And he stopped by to talk with us about role-playing games and names. So definitely stay tuned. It's going to be a great show.
Awesome. So exciting.
Yay. So thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you later. If you want to email us, podcast@babynames.com. Thank you, Miranda,
Thanks for having me.
being our guest host. And we'll check in with Mal and see how she's doing.
Where's Mel?
She'll be back. Where's Mallory? It's going to be like, where's Waldo? Okay, bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.